What's up everyone? In this video I'm going to be installing a steering wheel wrap kit. This isn't really like one of those things you see at like the store where just like coat goes around the edge of the steering wheel. I'm calling it a wrap, not because like vinyl wrap, like how you'd wrap something like this, but it's actual new leather that will go around the steering wheel, and we have to sew it all the way around here, and there'll be some tape that goes in there and everything, but this should replace all of this leather that goes around here. And also it has a hole for this ST emblem for the one that I ordered. I will link this down in the description. It was only $25, which is a pretty good deal considering what all you get. You get all the threads, everything you need, instructions. This came from China. It took probably less than a month to get here, and they actually had really good customer service. This is a custom order. The one that they had for the ST looked just like this, but there goes all that stuff. Okay. The one that they already had for the ST, they have these for a bunch of cars. So if you have other cars, these are great. It's by a company called Me Want. That's the logo right there. It's a Chinese company, as you can tell. The grammar and the instructions and everything is like they don't really make sense at all. But they did email me some installation videos, which I will be kind of referencing to make sure I show you how to do this right. But this was $25, and it was a custom order, and they didn't charge me any more for the custom order, but I custom ordered this red stripe up at the top, you know, kind of how like race car steering wheels have them to kind of show you where the center of the wheel is. I just thought that'd be cool to add a little bit more red to the car. And I also got red stitching there, and it comes with red thread and a sewing needle and all of that. But basically this just goes around the steering wheel really tight. I can't really fit a tripod in here, so I can't really show myself doing anything, but I'll just kind of update you on each thing I do and show you what I did. But this will just simply wrap around the steering wheel and replace all of this leather that mainly from the previous owner, but you can see it's like been worn down there, and it's all like shiny just from my hands and chemicals and things getting on it. It also just has like this black stitching and kind of boring looking. So this will be brand new leather. This isn't real leather. You can get real leather for $50, but I just figured I would get the cheaper one just because I didn't know if it was going to work or not. But I'm going to go ahead and stretch this around the wheels. My phone doesn't really have a wide angle lens, so I can't really show you everything all at once. But I'm going to stretch this around the wheel, and it came with this little bag of everything. I'll try to take it out one-handed. So there's this thing for prying stuff. You have to tuck it down inside of here and down under there, and I don't think there's anything, you don't tuck it in behind the back, but you tuck it around here to make it look cleaner. And I'll also be using that to remove this ST badge here. And then the other stuff that comes with it, two red stitching threads. One comes with a sewing needle, a thimble, I guess to protect your finger or something. I don't really know how to sew. I'm just gonna kind of follow the pattern they show. And then this tape, which you put on the inside of the steering wheel wrap, and you wrap it like around the edges here. I'm going to put some around this badge, and you put it there, and it'll kind of hold it in place, and then you sew it to pull it tight. But this helps hold it in place even when it's tight, to keep it from slipping and all of that. But that's pretty much all that comes in the box. Pretty simple stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and pry out this badge right here, and then wrap this on the steering wheel, and I'll show you what it looks like once I've got it all tight and centered around the wheel. I'm doing this with the car off at this point because the steering wheel won't move around when I'm doing it, but it's super hot outside, so whenever I get this around and it's time to start sewing it, I'll probably turn the AC on and start the car and all of that. But I'm going to go ahead and do this and show you what it looks like whenever I kind of got this first step done. So I pried this badge out with this plastic tool. It's pretty easy. It just has some sticky stuff back there and those little clips. And then you can see it leaves, you can't really see it, but it leaves a hole there. And I got the wrap thing all the way around, and I got it about as centered as possible. You can see with that center stripe, and all of this stuff is centered. So now what you're supposed to go around and do is take this tape and put it on the inside of here and get all of this all taped up, even around back here, and then you get it all down and set where you need to, and it'll kind of hold it in place like this. And then that's when we're going to go around and start sewing all the way around, and then there, and there, all the way around. And we're going to sew it. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of this tape set, and then I'll show you what it looks like before I peel it off and stick it down. And then I'll get it all stuck down, and then I'll figure out how to do all of the sewing and all of that stuff. So here it is all taped. You can see there's pieces of tape all the way around it. This stuff is really sticky. I've already put some down there to kind of hold it around where the badge goes, because I'm going to get this all set perfect first, because this is going to kind of like, this is the most sensitive area of everything fitting. And then I'm just going to measure everything up to make sure it fits right, and then I will put the tape down, and then I'll start tucking in all of the edges, and then that's when it's time to sew it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all the tape off and get it all taped down, and then I will show you the pattern of sewing it and how I'm going to do it and all that. So here's what it looks like whenever the paper has been peeled off all of the tape. So that's kind of all of the places I put it. I make sure to put it especially around these little flaps back here, because there's going to be nothing holding them down except this tape. So you'll want to make sure that those are centered first, kind of like that. And then also put tape on them, because that will keep them down after you have like sewn the whole thing together. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and get this all taped down, and then I will show you what it looks like after that. So here is the wheel all taped down. You can see I put the badge in. That's stuck in there pretty good with the tape. And you know, there are the wrinkles, but whenever you press it down to sew it together, those will go away. But I'm going to go ahead and start sewing it. I don't really know how to show you to do this. It's like too hard to get back there, and I don't really even 100% know the correct way to do it. So I'm either just going to do the whole thing and then show you what it looks like, or if I figure out how to do it and I can show you, I will show you how to do it. But I will link the videos down in the description that they sent me, so that you can see them to reference and learn how to do it too. But yeah, I'm pretty much just going to try to sew this, and we will see how it goes, and I'll let you know if anything happens. But you can see this part here is taped down, and you can pretty much see what it's going to look like, and it actually looks a lot better than I thought. So I'm going to go ahead and start sewing it, and we will see what happens, I guess. So I have done about 1.5 sections, and I'm just going to try to show you what I've done. You really can't even see it that well, but this, if I can focus right there, this section is done. It's a little bit, let's forget the light. Okay, so it's a little bit messy right there. You can see I might redo this just because I didn't really know how to get it tied right there. But this is what it looks like when you go once over. So you tie a knot in the end of your string and go through the back side, and you come up through a hole that was already there. Then you go across to the other side and go through one of these loops, and then you go back and forth across each side. You know, it's moving forward, going across each side, but on each side you skip a loop. So you'd go from this loop here down to another loop to this loop, and then skip a loop on this side, and you go all the way down. So I'd go all the way around this, and then I'd wrap it around one here, and then come all the way back around, filling in the ones that you skipped. And then that's how you get the nice patterns. You can see this one's a little messy, so I'm probably going to cut this one and redo it. But if you look at this one here, it's only half done. You can see, can't really see in the light, but you can see like right there, there. You can see I skipped a loop going through. This one's a lot cleaner right there, just because I did it right this time. Mine is a little bit tight. Like I couldn't pull these all the way tight enough to where the leather actually touches, but I mean, it doesn't really feel any, you can't really tell unless you're looking at it like really hard. But this side is turning out a lot better since I've kind of figured out what I'm doing. But I'm going to go back across this one, and then you go back through, tie a knot, and you just loop it through, and you can kind of tie a knot. I usually do a double knot just to make sure it stays in. And you cut the string off, and then I'm going to move on to this one down here, which I got to be careful not to pull out this section here, so I'm not going to pull this one super tight. And then there's going to be this one that goes all the way around. I'm going to have to do that one and pull it super tight because these kind of have like creases in them. But I'm going to go ahead and probably just finish it up unless I run into a problem or figure something out, and I'll tell you. But the next time you see it, it'll probably most likely be finished. So it is actually the next day now, and I pulled the car out into the sun so I could see better. And I just kind of wanted to give a quick tip that I kind of figured out as I've been going through this. For this piece here, I think I already mentioned this, but this has to be in 2 pieces, otherwise this will get way too long. And whenever you're threading it through, you'll have one hand on the needle pulling on the needle like this, and keep one hand on the string to keep it kind of taut. Otherwise it'll get all twisted and get little knots in it, and you won't be able to pull it through. So be really careful with that. And also one thing you'll notice now, since I'm kind of in the middle here, I can kind of show you this. But here you can see it's not the cleanest thing in the world. I probably should try to pull it a little bit more this direction. I'm just going to cut this little flap off. But you can see here my like thumb fits in there good, just like it did before, and this is all like tight. Like it's a little bit squishy, but it's tight now. This feels like OEM. But if you go over here, you can see like my you can't really tell, but like when I put my thumb in here, it kind of feels weird. It feels loose and kind of like bulged, I guess. And right here it's like squishy. You can see there's like some kind of wrinkles in there. And that's because this side only has 1 stitch going through it. This is just 1. And if you look over here, this one has 2 going through it. So when I go, the first time I get it tight just to pull it together and hold it all down. And then with the second one I go through, I pull it really tight. Like, don't go crazy because you don't want to pull out one of the threads or break one. But I'm just pulling really tight, and it gets rid of these like wrinkles that are here. And it also makes it feel more OEM. Like this, it's kind of hard to explain, but this kind of feels cheap and like loose. Like you could tell it's a steering wheel wrap. But if over here, if you feel it, the leather's a lot more tight, and like down here where you put your thumb, it feels like it did before. As we're over here, it kind of feels like big and loose and doesn't really like line up as good. But you can see all around, it's actually turning out a little bit better than I thought. I was kind of at first, after I just done this first stitch, I was like, it's kind of wrinkled and doesn't really feel good. It might, I mean, I don't really know if I like it. But now that I've gone through and done this other stitch, and now that all of this leather, I've done the second stitch all the way around up to here. So I just have this part here to go, and then I'll be done. But it does, it looks really good, feels good too. It's like brand new leather, so it doesn't have the shiny stuff and all the residue in it from the previous owner and all that. So that's pretty much it for this part. I'll go ahead and get back to you once I've got the whole thing stitched up and finished. So here is the finished product. It actually turned out pretty good, other than the only thing that bothers me is kind of these edges right here. They're not completely like perfect, and I could not get these to align. If you see, there's a little gap there in this piece here. I could not get those to align. I don't know if that's just because it was cheap and doesn't line up right, or if I didn't do it somehow. But when it was not taped down, I tried to align those as much as possible, and I could not get it to align. But I mean, you can't really tell, it's hidden from the front. You only notice it if you're looking for it. But everywhere else was able to line up. Everything lined up. There's a few, like there's a little bit extra stuff here and a little bit on this side, but it all lined up. Everything's tight and kind of feels factory now, other than the edges. See, the stitching looks decent, I guess. So, I mean, it's about what I would expect for doing it for my first time, not really knowing how to stitch or line it up or anything like that. I'm sure if I did another one, I'd be able to get it to work a little bit better. And then also This emblem right here, you can see it doesn't go all the way down in there. I might just take it back out and try cutting some of the, my phone won't focus, okay. I might try cutting some of this with a razor and trying to get it to go down in there more, but it's not really that big of an issue. But I mean, I think it looks cool with the red stitching and the red stripe. Makes it look custom, different than anyone else. I haven't seen anyone else do this on an ST before, but it feels nice now that it's like brand new. It's not like shiny and slippery. You can kind of hear it. It feels new. But I'll see how it holds up. If I have problems with it like fading in the sun or something weird happening, I'll make an update video on it and show you what happens. But I mean, it feels good. Doesn't really feel any different from factory around here. This side maybe, because you can see around back here, this piece doesn't have anything to like sew onto, so that's just taped down and then that's stitched around. But that's pretty much it. Jeez, okay, that's pretty much it for this video. Sorry I couldn't really show you how to do it more, just because it was kind of hard to do it in the first place, and recording would be too difficult. But I'll show you the videos that they sent me, and you can kind of follow those and just use the tips that I showed. I'm just kind of bringing awareness to this and showing you what all it looks like, but it's pretty cool. I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for something else to make your interior look a little bit nicer, aside from buying like a carbon steering wheel with this already done, and it's several $100s for only $25, I believe it was. This was not bad at all. I think it looks cool, definitely worth it. But that's pretty much it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.